Today I'd like to speak with you about Islam. It is the second largest religion in the world. It is practiced in more countries than any other. And according to some people, it is pure evil. Many Americans and several prominent politicians and pundits have said that they believe that Islam is nothing more than a way to spread terrorism and evil, and typically citing bogus statistics and using hateful rhetoric. The truth of the matter is that Muslims have every right to build their place of worship wherever they want, and tonight I would like to discuss with you why. Many have been protesting the Cordoba House, a proposed $100 million Islamic community center that would include a mosque. And people say the reason that it shouldn't be built is because of its close proximity to the site of the 2001 attacks on the World Trade Center. The rationale behind the protest seems to be that they need to stop the spread of this wicked religion. Bill Keller, a televangelist and the prominent voice against the construction of the Cordoba House, says, quote, "We need to combat this new evil being constructed near ground zero." It is fair to say that a great majority of these protesters come from a religious background, and many are calling on the New York State Legislature to stop this, quote, terrorist religion. The First Amendment of the United States says, and I quote, "Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof. If any legislature, state or federal, were to pass a law restricting the construction of a religious building based on their religion, it would set a terrible precedent. Not only would they be able to stop the construction of mosques, but also churches and synagogues and any other building that they felt like stopping. And I think everyone can agree that anything that infringes on the First Amendment is a bad thing. Others who are opposed to the construction of the Cordoba House have been exercising their First Amendment rights. Sarah Palin and Newt Gingrich have both come out saying that it would be an insult to the families of victims. Frank Rivera, a handyman in New York City, told AOL News that he believes, quote, "the project would be bad for New York and an insult to the families of the victims." Several protesters also had signs that said, "Islam builds mosques on conquered lands." The Cordoba Initiative, the multinational, multi-faith organization responsible for the construction of the Cordoba House, said that on their website that they oppose terrorism and want the center to stand as a statement against terrorist activities. Many people, myself included, have a hard time understanding the link between Islam and terrorism. So we must look to those who compare them the most often. Glenn Beck, a TV talk show host, radio show host, and best-selling author, has been critical of the construction of Cordoba House since its announcement in 2009. He has also been opposed to the spread of Islam since 2003. In his 2003 book, The Real America, he said, quote, "10% of Islam wants to see us dead. That 10% of the faith is composed of extreme radicals who have taken Islam through a time tunnel and twisted it. We are fighting a war with Islam, but only 10% of it." Mr. Beck has used the 10% statistic on his television show and radio shows repeatedly, and it is often quoted as fact by those who oppose the construction of the Cordoba building. It is the main anti-Islamic argument used today. According to adherence.com, a website that compiles data on religious organizations, there are 1.5 billion Muslims in the world. In other words, Mr. Beck is saying that there are 150 million Islamic terrorists. For the purpose of comparison, according to the U.S. Census Bureau, in 2009, there were 307 million people living in America. Beck and his followers and his supporters are suggesting that an amount of people equal to half the population of the United States engage in and support terrorist activities. It's probable that the September 11th attacks on the World Trade Center are what caused people to associate Islam with terrorism. And it is this association that has many Americans out protesting what is essentially a basic human right. Many people seem to forget that it was Al-Qaeda that perpetrated the terrorist attacks on September 11th. and Al-Qaeda is a radicalist organization that claims to be Muslims. The Ku Klux Klan, the Aryan Nation, and the Irish Republican Army all claim to be Christian organizations, and all have perpetrated terrorist acts in the past. That does not make 10% of Christians terrorists. So please, as a Christian, speaking on behalf of Muslims who deserve equality, do not confuse Muslims with Al-Qaeda. Do not associate Islam with terrorism, and please, do not blindly oppose the rights of peaceful, hardworking people.